Hi guys. My name is Alexander Diminchin and welcome to this new video. Yesterday in my Telegram I warned that today, Wednesday, January 18, 2023, very important data about the state of the US economy will be released. This data was bound to affect Bitcoin. We are talking about two indices, the Producer Price Index and the Retail Sales Index. So we were saying that if the numbers were positive, the market would react with an increase. Well, half an hour ago those numbers became known. The Producer Price Index in the United States was 6.2%, the forecast was 6.8, and the previous value was 7.4. As we can see, the fact was not only lower than the previous one, but also lower than it was expected. In addition to that, the Retail Sales Index was even lower than expected. But what does that mean? It means that the US economy is slowing much faster than expected. On the one hand, this is a bearish signal, but a bearish signal only for the dollar index, because the faster the US economy is slowing, the faster the Federal Reserve will have to roll back its policy or at least suspend rate hikes. Accordingly, this is bad for the dollar index. However, it is good for the Bitcoin cryptocurrency, but only temporarily, mind you. Next, on the weekly Bitcoin chart, there is a signal that can really be called legendary. This is the first such signal since 2021. So what is this signal and what should we do about it? Let's figure it out. Look here, yes, we're talking about this blue beautiful signal about that went off for the first time in 2 years. What kind of signal is that? It's a hash ribbons indicator that takes into account the surrender of the miners. It is important that it is a weekly chart because this indicator is much more accurate on a weekly chart than on a daily chart. So what happened when this signal appeared in the past? Let's break down 2019. A huge bear market, a colossal collapse, Bitcoin prices in a long time. After that collapse, we were trading at the bottom. Everyone predicted that the price would collapse even more. When the Bitcoin price was right there, everybody laughed if anybody told them it would collapse. But when it collapsed, no one believed it would rise. Everyone was waiting for it to go even lower. They never did, by the way. Notice when we were trading here after the massive crash and debilitating bear market, there was this blue fat dot right here. That was the hash ribbon signal. Lukacs Wydra kindly collected absolutely all of the hash ribbon signals on the weekly chart. There are 13 of them in the history of Bitcoin. In 2011, 15 days after this signal, Bitcoin was up 76%. In 2012, 58 days after the signal, it was up 156%. In 2013, it was up 1,195% 61 days after the signal. In 2015, there were two such signals and Bitcoin rose 13% and 40% in 43 and 66 days after the hash ribbon signal, respectively. In 2019 and 2020, there were 5 more such signals, and the growth after such signals ranged from 13% to 250%. At the same time after the signal was from 36 to 133 days. As we can see, the buy signal on the weekly hash ribbons does not mean instant growth of Bitcoin. The growth occurred somewhat later, so there may well be short-term drops after such a signal. This should not surprise us. This signal still works fine on the weekly chart and only once out of 13 it was wrong. Right now, this signal is lit up again on the Bitcoin chart. Right there. Of course, this is not financial advice, but the signal is so legendary that it would be wrong not to mention it. But you shouldn't get into a frenzy of FOMO either. Let me remind you that the situation with Genesis GC and Gemini has not been resolved yet, and its finality could affect the markets. So, for example, there are already rumors that Genesis may file for bankruptcy by the end of this week. Apart from that, there is another topic worth talking about, and that is the US national debt. The US national debt will reach its ceiling as early as tomorrow. On Thursday, January 19, 2023, steps must be taken to avoid default, says Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen. My immediate question is, how did they approve the 2023 state budget about a month ago if they didn't even consider the fact that the national debt is already approaching the ceiling at the beginning of the year? That, first of all. Second of all, everyone is going to start screaming that here comes the USA default tomorrow. Well, it's not the first time this has happened in the USA, and every time the USA has just raised the debt ceiling. But they did it so slowly that the S&P 500 in the stock market were feverish with volatility. They even managed to fall by 50%. So we won't see a default, but we will see a battle over how much to spend. I think Republicans will be in favor of significant spending cuts. Only then will they agree to raise the US debt ceiling. That's what's going to happen, I think. This will create a huge wave of volatility all over the markets at once. The stock market, just like last time, could go through a correction. Then the Republicans and Democrats will come to some kind of agreement and calm the markets down a bit. In fact, it's not even my guess anymore, because Republicans say they will not support raising the national debt ceiling unless they get some kind of concession. So the Treasury Secretary warns that this impasse could cause irreparable damage to the economy. But the Republicans are engaging in nothing more than blackmail to achieve whatever their goals are. And most likely, the Democrats will have to agree to a compromise to raise the U.S. national debt ceiling again and prevent a default. That's all. My name is Alexander Diminchin. If the video was interesting, don't forget to put a like and subscribe to the channel. Here every day we talk about the most important events from the world of cryptocurrency and economy. See you in new videos. See you soon.